welcome back everybody for episode number 50, 50. Year and a half. I guess 50 videos isn't a lot, but you know, I have a kind of a work schedule that requires me to be away a little bit, so I try to do some more. But anyhow, we're here, and it's number 50, and thank you for being here. If you like what you're seeing and what you've seen, maybe, and you haven't subscribed, please do, and like this channel. Hit the like thing, it helps the algorithm, and all that good stuff. Well, anyhow, thank you for being here. I'm going to talk about some music today and a few other things. But 50 is kind of a milestone, and I try to do a few things a little different here. Than I don't want to be repetitive to what other people are doing. That's why you don't see me review a lot of the older records that have been reissued recently. Do I have the new Coltrane UHQR of Love Supreme? Yes. Is it great? Yes. There have been many, many great reviews of that. I'm not going to be repetitive. So what I try to do is talk about some of the records I find or I've had, I pull out and listen to, and stay away from the quality of the cardboard. I talk more about what's on the vinyl. There's so many great channels here that cover that and do a great job on it. Try to give you a little more of the history that I've learned and from many of the other people here in the vinyl community. Dan, the Jazz Shepherd's been a great inspiration. If you don't know about Dan, please check it out. Great information and history, as well as the music of what was going on during the period that this music was recorded. It's really important to know that. I'm going to do some videos down the road, maybe on some DVDs. I have a lot of jazz on DVD. I read a lot of books. Here's a new book I got. It's a great book. I think there's one or two on eBay. It's a portrait of Hampton Hawes called Raise Me Up. Really, really great book, and it tells a lot about what was going on with Hampton and his life. A lot of good stuff in there. There's books on Clifford Brown and Phil Woods and, of course, Miles and the big guys. But, to know what's going on historically as well as the music, it's important. Let's see. So that's what I try to do here. And I'll leave some of the other things to some of the other people who do it so well. I spent some time in some of the local record stores in the past week to 10 days here and found some really good stuff. I have a trip coming up here in 2 weeks, going through Oklahoma City and Albuquerque on the way out to the Four Corners area where I'll be for 10 days. I am a photographer. If you'd like to see what I do, it's jackgrahamphoto.com. So I've checked the record stores out in Oklahoma City and Albuquerque. You'd probably try to stop in one or two, if time permits. But, I have some new things that I'm going to talk about. And, it's a funny thing with record stores. The days of finding those original Blue Notes and Riversides and things like that, they're going away because the store owners are picking them out and putting them on Discogs, eBay, what have you, as they should. And stuff that we're finding in the stores, though good, may not be, what the holy grail of things. One of the things that does irritate me that isn't done here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Most of the records I get here are very clean. They clean them in the two stores, Basement Records and Magnolia. They clean. These guys clean their records really well. When I get them, they're really good. I still clean them, but they're real good. They don't put price stickers on the jackets. God, Some stores do. I don't know why, and it's fine. But, you know, as a collector, man, to have to try to get that off, and sometimes it doesn't, and it's a drag. Um, Record store owners, if you watch this, put the press stickers on the plastic or something, because I know why you can't, because people play games, but man, what a pain in the neck. But I have some new stuff that's really pretty good. And again, thank you all for listening and putting up with my rants, as well as my, hopefully the information that is interesting and fun to listen to. You know, it's a funny thing. If I talked about my top 10, you know, tone poets, and they're here, and put, you know, the clickbait thing, top 10, I probably get 2 to 3 times the amount of views that I get on the one I do. But I'm not going to do that. I just leave that to other people. If I talk about equipment, people love that. If I do an informative video like this, excuse me, it doesn't get the clicks. It doesn't get the views. But I'm not going to change it. It's just an interesting thing. Anyhow, a couple new records. One of the places I do buy records is from some people I know that run auctions. These I bought from Masie. Masie runs an auction, I think, once a month or so. And I can tell you that his stuff is really, really, really good. And these are 2 records that I picked up recently. One's a Bill Evans in Paris, first edition, Al Cohn and Zoot Sims. Those of you who do know who Masie is, I'm sure most of you do. When you buy from Masie, his grading system is right on. Packaging is right. I'm not on his payroll, believe me. I pay full price, what he asks, and prices are fair. Shipping is great packaging. Everything comes in safe, quick, and his grading system, he's right on. When he says it's a VG plus, it's a VG plus. You know, when I talk about grading for a minute, when I get a record off of Discogs, I rarely buy anything on eBay. I stay away from eBay unless I know the seller. But if it's a mint minus, I always assume it's a VG plus. I always look one step down from what it is and kind of assume that's what it is, because then I'm not disappointed. If it turns out to be the mint minus, which a lot of times it is, then it's okay. But, you know, just assume that the people that you don't know that you're buying from, they may grade them a little bit better than they are a lot of times. Not all the time, but a lot of times. But these 2 records from Masie, these Bill Evans records are great records. It's been reissued, it's around. Henry Cartier-Bresson photograph on here. In Paris, first edition. Done late in Bill's career, and I don't know the date exactly. I'm going to guess it was done in about 1980, so pretty late, with Mark Johnson and Joe LaBarbera on drums. But Bill plays really good on this, on electro musician. Bill Evans in Paris. If you can find that, do it. And of course, the Al and Zoot on Muse. These guys did a lot of records together. Muse is a great label. Pretty much everything that I've seen on Muse, they always had high quality musicians, and the selection of tunes and what have you has always been good. But Muse is a great label, good sounding label. Speaking of the good sounding labels, you know I love Pablo records. You know, we're all used to seeing Cannonball, and we've had a lot of Cannonball on Riverside with this same group, with Sam Jones on bass, Louis Hayes on drums, Victor Feldman on piano, and that and Cannonball This is a Riverside called Plus. Micro groove, deep groove, Riverside. This isn't the one I want to show you. This is the one I want to show you. Pablo. What is this thing called? Soul. Same band. Louis Hayes, what a great drummer. Really drives this band. Recorded in Europe. The only Pablo record that Cannonball ever made. And I've got a DVD with this band on it. And man, Louis Hayes, very underrated drummer. Really, really great drummer. But this is a really good record. And because it's the only recording of Cannonball and Pablo, you don't see it around too much, but there are a few copies on Discogs. I would consider really, checking this out. You probably stream it and listen to it first. Good sounding record, like all Pablos. Listened to this last night. Cannonball has a couple funny little talks on there too. That's a good record. What is this thing called? Soul on Pablo. Speaking of Pablo, 2 Count Basie records on Pablo, big band records, done about the same time in the early 80s. Same personnel, kind of. One's called Me and You, and the other's called Farmer's Market Barbecue. Yeah, I mean, these are not audiophile, quote, audiophile records, but when you hear these, you get a clean copy of these. Man, they sound as good as, any 180 gram, RTI record. I mean, you got to hear these. They're amazing. There's a version on Me and You of Moulton Swing, Benny Moulton. And they do about 16 bars, and then the band comes in and plays 2 notes at triple forte, really loud, and it comes right back down. You better be prepared. You'll jump out of your chair when you hear this. And the recording quality on this record is amazing. It's amazing. It's hard to find. I don't think there are any copies on Discogs right now. The CD is around. I have the CD. Not even close to what this is. And this is a close second. Very, very good record. Good recording. Farmer's Market Barbecue. Farmer's Market in LA has great barbecue. And I guess the band must have eaten there that day. This is recorded in LA. Both are Japanese presses. It's got the Japanese script here around I never noticed that. But great records. If you can find, this is easier to find than this on vinyl. But look for this, please. You got to hear this. It's unbelievable. Let's see what else. A couple new Pablos, of course. This just came in. I had this on CD. I have not listened to it yet on vinyl. It just came in yesterday. I haven't had time to clean it. Came from recordsale.de in Germany. It's a Japanese pressing of a trumpet summit. It's called Alternate Blues with Oscar. And on here is Joe Pass, of course, with Oscar, but Dizzy, Freddie, and Clark Terry. And this is a great record. This is tonight's listen. I'll give it a run through the ultrasonic machine, clean it up, and it's going to sound great. This will get me through the evening tonight. What a great record this is. Been looking for that for a while. It's on the, again, Japanese pressing. You see the blue and white Pablo on there. And, of course, the King, Benny Carter. I think Duke Ellington gave Benny the title The King because he was the king. What a great player. Phil Woods loved Benny Carter. Benny was an influence for so many people. And if you go to his Wikipedia page, man, what he's done will scare you. With Benny, Milt Jackson, Joe Pass, Tommy Flanagan, Jake Hanna, and John B. Williams on bass. John B. Williams, if you go back and watch the Tonight Show, he was the bass player in the Tonight Show band for many, many, many years. Great player. Done in L.A. I think this is a Val Valentine engineered record and a great sounding record. But what a great, great, great sound. Benny Carr. Man, what a great sound. I listened to this the other day about 2 or 3 times. I happened to get a demo pressing. Again on Pablo. 2310 768. And a great record. If you see these green little stickers here when I hold up a record, that tells me that I've cleaned the record once. So I don't play them twice. Benny Carter. What a player. Another new Japanese pressing that came in on Contemporary, distributed by King Records in Tokyo, or in Japan, is Shelly Manne and His Men, Contemporary Sounds. There's some really, really interesting playing on here. It's Leroy Vinegar, Russ Freeman, Stu Williamson. What an underrated player. Has a lot of issues, but not recorded as much as I would have liked to have heard. And the great Charlie Mariano on alto, done in 55 maybe, or 56 on the Contemporary label. This is a Japanese reissue from the 80s on King Records. It's a great sounding repress. Again, Val Valentine. And of course, this was a record that was supervised by the great Roy Dan at Contemporary, who really, he wasn't a jazz guy, but he knew how to engineer and mix these records. And there's nothing better than a nice, clean Contemporary record. Sounds great, and of course, it's a great band. I love Leroy Vinegar's bass playing, and of course Shelly on drums. But that'll be tonight with the other Pablo. You know, this record came out. I really like Pat Metheny. I like his musical thoughts. I love the way he plays. Typically, most of the time, puts a really good group together. Especially when that band with Lyle Mays and those guys. This is a new record that he just brought out called Dream Box. It's a 2-record set of solo playing. Pat's a great player, and he plays great on this. I have to tell you though, I'm very disappointed with this record. Musically not, but it just doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound up to the standards that Pat's other records have had. The pressing was done in Canada, and it's really not clean. One of these records was warped and had a lot of noise on it. Pat, I know Pat's not watching, but if you ever watch this, stay away from this studio and stay away from whoever pressed these. You know, again, you know, it was, I think, about a $30 record for 2 records, which is fair, more than fair. You know, we all pay a little more for better pressing. I actually bought this on CD. It sounds better on CD than it does on the record, to me. Any comments? I'd love to hear them from anybody else, but very disappointing. Musically, great. Sound-wise and quality-wise, especially quality-wise, very disappointing. Anyhow, that's it for number 50, folks. I guess onward and upward. And again, thank you all, especially the 900 and something people who subscribe here. I guess we'll have a big party if we ever hit 1,000. But, thank you all. And I hope you like what you see. And I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing here and let the other great people do what they do. Try not to duplicate things and what have you. I have some ideas coming up for, everybody's doing their top 10, I guess, most favorite records. I'll try to do that maybe. But anyhow, well, thank you all. And until next time, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.